Hi, thank you for watching. I'm Shannon and welcome to today's video. I am continuing on my series of best and worst rooms at various Walt Disney World resorts, and right now is my Disney Vacation Club series. So today we're going to be covering Animal Kingdom Lodge Jambo House. Now there are two DVC villas, and that is Jambo House and Kidani Village. And then there's three components of Animal Kingdom Lodge. So you have, again, Jambo House and Kidani, as well as just Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is the hotel side. So it gets a little confusing, but those are the three. I will be covering them in three different videos as to not get confused, because you are booking a specific resort. And today we're gonna cover Jambo House. Now Jambo House probably has a little bit more intricacies, because a lot of the standard view, you can have anywhere from a parking lot or rooftop view, which is not so great, or you could even have a partial Savannah view. So I think that Jambo House has the most variety, especially in that standard category today, and that's what I'm gonna probably be focusing on the most. It's also unique because it has four view categories. There's value, standard, Savannah, and Kilimanjaro Club. And that's basically because when they made the Jambo House portion, it was part of Animal Kingdom Lodge originally. So they took out some of those rooms, and some of those rooms were part of club level, and they made them club. So Jambo House is the only DVC villas to have a club level. Now I will say, if you want to book that value or that club, you pretty much have to own there and be ready to book at 7 a.m. on your 11-month window. And even then, you may not get it. So just keep that in mind. If you are looking to rent and you see, oh wow, I want to rent some value points, and it's 5 months away, they're not going to be available. You can try, but it's probably not going to be available. So before we get into the room views and which is the best and worst rooms, let's look at the breakdown of how many rooms are in each category. Okay, as always, we're going to start with the studios. Studios, there are value, 8 dedicated, 10 lock off. Standard, 14 dedicated, 34 lock off. Savannah, 24 dedicated, 33 lock off. And then club, there are only 5 lock offs. Now in all the other categories, there are no dedicated. So for 1 bedrooms, there are value, 10 lock offs. Standard, 34 lock offs. Savannah, 33 lock offs. And club, 5 lock offs. There are no dedicated 2 bedrooms at Animal Kingdom Lodge Jambo House. So in the 2 bedrooms, they are all lock-offs. Value 10, standard 34, Savannah 33, and club 5. And for those beautiful 3-bedroom grand villas, they're all Savannah view, of course, and there are 6 of them. So that is the breakdown of how many rooms are in each category at Animal Kingdom Lodge Jambo House. Now, before we get started, I wanted to say that Jambo House is one of my family's favorite. We have stayed at Jambo House 3 times. We've never stayed in Animal Kingdom Lodge Hotel or the Kidani Village side. And mainly because we just love Jambo House. And I think we would love the hotel side too, but we love that main lobby. A lot of people are different. A lot of people love Kidani. So it just really depends on what your preference is. Kidani, everyone will tell you, if you're in a 1-bedroom, you're gonna get that extra bedroom, which if you have a large family, can be crucial. So, but one of the things I love about Jambo House is you can get a partial Savannah view at standard points. And the reason for this, and I'll get into this in a little bit, but there are what's called basically people pens. I don't know what their official term is, but if you look outside in some of the Savannah, you'll see these big pens. And those pens are for this is what I was told by a cast member. So if this is not correct, I'm sorry. But there are basically evacuation pens. So if there was an emergency and guests had to evacuate the hotel, they would need to go outside. Well, outside, there's all these animals. So the people would go and evacuate in these pens so that not to interact and be protected from the animals. So when the Jambo House first was developed, a lot of people had these views and they were Savannah views, but they were really right underneath or right on top of the pen, so the animals really wouldn't come near there. You could see the animals, but from afar. And I guess a lot of people complained, so they recategorized all of these rooms that sat near these pens or overlooked these pens, and they were recategorized as standard. So you'll see a lot where there might be a standard and the room next to it is considered a Savannah, and it's literally just a matter of 10 feet that separates between a Savannah and a standard view. So you really have a better chance of getting a Savannah view at standard points at Jambo House. There's not many of those rooms at Kidani. I think there's a couple, but not like there is at Jambo House. We have only stayed in a standard view and have always had a partial Savannah. We've only stayed in standard and have always had a partial Savannah view. So with that, I'm going to give you a little tour of where everything falls at Animal Kingdom Lodge Jambo House, and then which ones I think are the best and worst rooms. Here we go. So we are back at touringplans.com and on the page dedicated to Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge Jambo House. And here you'll find all the information regarding Jambo House and some great pictures. And if you see in this picture right here, you will see that is the people pen I was talking about. So those rooms that would be right up here overlooking this people pen have been reclassified as standard. And just in case there's ever an evacuation, you would probably end up in one of these pens. Let's hope that never happens. But here's some pictures. Just talks about the resort. And this is, well, that's a room for Animal Kingdom Lodge. And then some pictures, the dining options, Jigo, Boma, Sanaz over at Kidani. But just all the information that you need to know regarding Animal Kingdom Lodge Jambo House would be on this page. So now we're on the page for where you can look at the room views, and I'm going to give you a quick little overview of where everything is at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So this is Animal Kingdom Lodge right here. This consists of the hotel side and Jambo House. Jambo House consists of the 5th and 6th floor for the DVC. And then this right here, this gray part is Kidani. We'll cover that in a different episode. And that is just a completely separate resort. And then their pool is right here. You have access to both amenities, but it is a considerable walk. There is a shuttle that goes in between. Everything for Jambo House is pretty much right in this area right here. This is the main lobby. You see Jambo House lobby. This is the main lobby here. Jico, Boma, they're right around here on the first floor, I believe. Right around here on the first floor is the Mara, the quick service. The gift shop is right around here, I believe. On the second floor. The second floor is the lobby. So the first floor is where you get down to the pool. And then obviously you have the pool. The gym is right around this area. It's right next to the pool. And the slide is right around here. There's a playground right over here as well. So everything central as far as activities for the resort is in this area. Everything else is pretty much Savannah. So if you are someone who wants to get your cup of coffee every morning at the Mara and you are all the way over here in the Kudu Trail, you got a long walk to get, all the way down there. So that's where I say location could be very, very key depending on where you pick your room. So just kind of keep all of that in mind, but everything is pretty central this area. And that's where sometimes a standard view, if you're going to really don't care about having the animals right outside your own room, a standard view might be better because a lot of standard views, basically anything on this side right here, are going to be standard. So keep that in mind. Okay, when going over the rooms today, we're going to go by category. So first value, then standard, then Savannah, and then club level. So we're going to start off with value, and I've already plugged it in, and you will see that the values are all in this front area here. Values are just rooms that were retrofitted to be DVC, and they are just a little bit shorter in length. I think it's about 3 feet shorter. I'm not 100% sure, but they just are a little smaller. But if you can snag one, you're going to save some points, especially the longer you stay, you're going to save quite a bit of points. So let's click right here. Obviously, if you're staying and you can snag a value and you can get on this ostrich trail, you're going to be in good shape. So there are only 8 dedicated studios and 10 lock-offs. So 18 total value studios. And you will see right here, 8 of them have a Savannah view. So let's just click this middle one right here. So this is from a room below, but it's basically the same. It's a great view. You have that Savannah view. And one of the things I personally love about the value studios is their proximity to the lobby, because there is a lobby right there. So you're very, very close. If I were able to snag a value room, whether it's a studio, 1 bedroom, or a 2-bedroom lock-off, I wouldn't worry about a specific number. I would just say Savannah view if possible. So let's say I was in a studio, I would click this one right here, 5112. Look at that view right there. I would click and let's see right here. It's fantastic. So I would pick this room. I would suggest request this room and then fill it in saying any Savannah view room would be acceptable. So, because there's 8 out of 18 have that Savannah view. Now, if you look on this other side right here, and not so good. You're pretty much looking at the parking lot. So again, you're going to be saving significant amount of points, and you can go any public viewing area and see the animals. But again, they're not right outside your room. Now let's go back to the other side, and you can see right here. So there's quite a bit of rooms right here, and not bad. You've got a nice pool view. So these are nice rooms as well. Obviously, maybe you want to look over the pool. So, and you'd have great proximity as well to the lobby. So those are really great rooms too. I think there's probably, now this room right here, which is 5006, this would be a worst room. I would say, pool view, not 5006. So if you wanted that pool view, specifically state that you don't want this room, because pretty much you're just looking over the roof. Not the ideal situation. So that is probably the worst room. This one right here, 5012, is a little better, and you're right next to the pool as well. So this one's not bad. And again, you're saving so many points. So I think as far as value, this would probably be worse than those parking lot views. But if you're looking for a pool, I would say specifically that you do not want 5006. So going now to the value 1 bedrooms, you'll see I already plugged it in, and the same pretty much applies. If you want to get that Savannah view, you've got it right here on Ostrich Trail. I would not worry about trying to get a specific room. This is 5110, great view. I would aim to try and get that one personally because it's just the closest to the lobby. And then just say any Savannah view room in this category. These obviously are going to have a view of the parking lot. Not great. And let's look at the other side, because again, I think the other side has worse rooms than that. So let's go right here. And this one really has 2 bad rooms. And this is definitely going to be the worst, which is 5004. And yeah, you got that roof view. Not great. And the other one is going to be 2 doors down. That's 5010. And this is just not as good. So this one is from the room next door. So I would try and avoid these 2 rooms. If you want that pool view room, this room is pretty good. I think any of the other 2 pool view rooms aren't bad. But if you can try, I would obviously try and get the Savannah view and try and get one of those, request it. And then if not, then I would maybe put these 2 as, an alternative. That way you have plenty of options and say that you specifically don't want 5004 and 5010, and hopefully luck will be in your favor. Now for 2 bedrooms, I'm not going to go over them because they're all lock-offs, so the same would apply for 2 bedrooms. So now we're going to get into the standard view, and this is where it gets tricky. So as you can see, I have changed. I am now on mouseowners.com, a forum, and this is a post from over 5 years ago, from February of 2015. Micah008 posted this, and this is a map that I have found to be the most accurate. And as you can see, the values are there in orange. We already went over those. The standard are in blue and the Savannah are in green. So these areas right here where it is blue, well, obviously this makes sense, but this area here that it's blue is because those are where there's our people pens. So there's not a lot of animals around there. So obviously around here, there's just whole big Savannah. So that whole backside is going to be Savannah view. But these corners, these are where they have those people pens. So those have been reclassified as standard. So when looking on touring plans, and I'll show you in a second, you don't really have an accurate depiction because they've pretty much classified anything that's on the Savannah as Savannah view to be safe. At least that's my opinion, because I have gotten rooms and they are currently listed as Savannah on touring plans map, but they were standard. I did in fact go to the front desk and say, were we upgraded? And they said, no, that's a standard room. It's just got a partial. It's what we consider a partial Savannah. So just keep that in mind. So I'll be referring back to this a little bit, but you'll see this whole front area is standard. We'll go over that in a second, but keep in mind that these corners are kind of where the standard view rooms are. So now we're going to look at standard view studios. And as you can see, I've already plugged it in. Let's go right here first in this middle section. I think this middle section is great. Really, the only room I would say as far as here is 5203 because it's right on the Savannah, but it's a standard view and you have that close proximity to the lobby. But I think that's just such a slim chance to get that one room that I personally would not request that room. These rooms right here, I would say are the worst rooms because you're overlooking the roof. So anything that's overlooking the roof, obviously is not a good room. So, I mean, you have a pool view, but it's a lot of roof. So it's not horrible, but again, not ideal. Let's get out of there. So let's go back to the map. So we're gonna go look really quick at this side right here. And all of these rooms right here are on the pool. So these are great. And so beautiful pool view. Everything is on the 5th floor. So keep that in mind. So everything's on the 5th floor. Elevators are usually in the corners and you could go to the Mara is right around here. So it's not a far walk. Lobby is here. So it's not a far walk. When we were in Jambo the first time, I believe we were right here, which was 5522, 5524. Yeah, it was a 1-bedroom. And this was a standard 1-bedroom that we were in. And yep, that's my picture. And there's that people pen I told you about. And it was a decent walk. It wasn't horrible. It was a decent walk. So the closer you can be to this side is definitely great. But obviously on this side of the resort, you're going to be near the pool. Again, not bad. I wouldn't mind it being near the pool. It's a great view. You know, there's worse views to have, and in some resorts, pool views are desirable. So let's go back. And let's go back to the Kudu Trail. And this also right here. So there's the lobby right here. Now, I believe when we stayed, we were in this room here. And yep, that's my picture. And there we go. And again, there's that people pen. This is a standard view studio. Now, this one was a considerable walk because when we wanted to get coffee in the morning, we had to walk all the way across, go down to the Mara. So it was a good walk. But again, we were paying for standard points and got a Savannah view, weren't going to complain. These rooms right here are great. So all of these rooms, according to that other map, all of these rooms are standard view according to that map. I don't know 100%, but according to that other map that I found on Mouse Owners, and it seems to be accurate, all of these are considered standard view. And then a couple of these in the corner, like this corner right here and this corner right here, would also be standard. Now, all of these are going to be Savannah. All of these are going to be Savannah, so don't try and request those. Personally, if I had to request again, and I was in a standard view studio, I would probably request this room right here. And you don't really see a good picture. There's a lot of trees here, but I would request this room because I know that's probably going to be a standard, and just say standard view studio, partial Savannah, close to the lobby, any trail. Because for us, if we can get a partial Savannah view at Animal Kingdom Lodge on standard points, I don't care if we're over here, because I'll walk the walk to get that partial Savannah view and not have to pay the points for it. That's me. If you have someone that has mobility issues, then that might be an issue. Maybe you don't want to request a partial Savannah view because you might end up over here. So keep that in mind. What are your issues for your family? For us, we don't mind walking if that's going to give us a view of the animals when we're not having to pay for the points. Okay, and now we're going to look at standard view 1 bedrooms, and pretty much the same applies. I'll go over that worst room that I think, and that's going to be this one right here, which is 5405. Not horrible. You've got a view of the pool, but you know, it's got that roof right there. So it's not a horrible, definitely have seen worst rooms, but if there's a room to avoid, I would say that one. So let's go back. Now, obviously with that room right there, you'll have great access to all the restaurants, all the amenities, because you'll just be very, very central. So again, on this side, you will have all of these are going to be standard. Those are nice pool view rooms. Let's pull this one up right here, 5466, a little blurry, but a beautiful view of the pool and of the slide. So if you want to have your kids go and ride the slide and you can watch from the room, that's a great view right there. But any of these rooms are great, especially standard points. It's a beautiful view. But let's go back. Now, I will say these right here are going to be, some of those are standard. We were in this room, as I already showed you, 5524. That is definitely a standard view. A little bit of a walk. And then this corner right here, I believe, is also standard and it's just mismarked. Yes, there's a people pen. So most likely this room right here, 5574. So this corner and this corner are likely standard view rooms. These are Savannah, and then obviously all of these are Savannah. So let's go back to the resort map and go to the other side. And the same thing. These right here are going to be standard from the other map that we saw on Mouse Owners. This corner right here and this corner right here. Again, the same thing I would do is just click on this one, 5222, and I would put, request this room and put any partial Savannah view, Kudu Trail. That way you're more likely to get a room that has a partial Savannah view. Now, if you want to be closer to the food and the Mara and the pool, then you may want to request being on the other side, the Zebra Trail. So it just really depends on what your needs are. If you have mobility issues, then I wouldn't worry and try to get a partial Savannah view, because that is going to require you most likely to walk more. So keep those things in mind when requesting these types of rooms. So going back to the Mouse Owners picture, you can see here, again, the standard. I'm not going to go over 2 bedrooms because, again, they are lock-offs. So the same thing would apply that I went over for studio and 1 bedrooms. But just kind of keep in mind which one, just so you have another visual as far as which ones are most likely standard. We don't know for sure, but are most likely standard. And now we're going to move over to Savannah. So now we're going to look at the Savannah View Studios. So right here, it does say that they are some Savannah View. I do not believe those are Savannah Views. I believe those are mismarked and should be standard. So I'm not going to go over those. I could be wrong. I have been wrong before, but I'm not going to go over those right now. Now, personally, if I were going to request a Savannah View room, I would ask for anything on the Arusha Savannah, because I want to be on this inside. There's just a better chance of a better view on that inside. And then I would put as close, there's a zebra right there. Not a great picture, but I would be as close to the lobby as possible. So I think there's a better chance. Look, that's a beautiful Savannah view. You've got zebras, you've got something in the back. I'm sure there's giraffes, because I think there's giraffes on every Savannah. So that's 5231. I wouldn't worry so much about the actual number. I would just say, if I had booked a Savannah View room, I would say Arusha Savannah, as close to the lobby as possible. And I really wouldn't worry about each side. But if you're worried about each side, then I would say building 5, because this is going to be closer to the amenities and will give you quicker access to the Mara, the pool, etc. So if you'd like, let's take a quick look on this side. Let's see. Here's a great picture right here. So there's zebras, some giraffe, really, really great room. I don't think there's any bad rooms. I asked for people for bad rooms that were Savannah, and nobody could give me any. I think that any of those questionable rooms were reclassified to be standard. So if you're getting a Savannah view, you're going to have a great view. I would say try to avoid being at the end, just because it's just such a far walk. That's why I would always say try and get a Savannah view close to the lobby, because these hallways can get really long, especially after a day at the parks. And so we'll go over quickly a Savannah View 1-bedroom. Again, same applies. I would ask to be on the Arusha Savannah. You can see a couple here. This room, I think right here, which is 5529. Some really great views. There's the viewing points for the guests. So really a beautiful view. I would probably, if I had to pick a room, I would pick on this side. Again, just so you're closer to the food and the amenities. And I believe this room right here, let's look. Yes, 5507. So you're pretty far away from this area, just a lot of open space for the animals to come. Let's see this other picture here. Yeah, you've got a giraffe right there. So that's just a beautiful, beautiful view. And I think that's a great place. That's a great room. So that would be 5507. So if I were in a 1-bedroom Savannah, this would be the room I would request. And then I would put in there Arusha Savannah side, and then on the side of building 5, so that I would be close to the amenities of the Mara and the pool, etc. So before we get into the grand villas, I wanted to go over the club level first. There's not that many rooms, so we're just going to go over this very fast. There's only 5 studios, 5 1-bedrooms, and then combine those, there would be 5 lock-off, 2-bedroom lock-offs. So there's just not a lot of those rooms. So they're all right here. But this is the interesting thing. If you look, 3 of them have a Savannah view, and then 2 of them have a pool view. So I would say, if you are lucky to get one of these club rooms, definitely put in a request, because these are going to give you a view of the pool, but also of that roof. You're a little higher, so it's not so bad, but these are going to give you a Savannah. So these are the 6406 and 6401, and then this would be 6201, 6206, and 6209. So I would say be on the 62 side and not the 61 side. And then the same would go for the 1-bedrooms. I would say the same would go for the 1-bedrooms, is to try and be on the 62 side and not the 61 side, because if you're paying Kilimanjaro club points, you want that Savannah view. So as I stated earlier, there are only 6 grand villas on the Jambo House side. All of them are Savannah views. And out of the 6, my favorite would be this one right here on the Sunset Savannah. And that would be right here. Let's see, it's not clicking. There we go. And there's no picture, but I like it for several reasons. One, this is a picture from a room nearby, and you've got the shared Savannah with Kidani, so you could overlook Kidani. You've got the Savannah right there. It's a beautiful room. And then also, it's going to have the best proximity to the lobby of the Grand Villas. So if I were lucky enough to ever stay in a Grand Villa, I would request 5284. Now, the one I probably would try and avoid would just be this one. It's not even highlighted, so I don't know the number here. But this one right here, or if you go to the other side, it would be on the zebra trail. It would be, let's see, my computer is being very, very slow right now. And it would be this one right here, which would be 5593. And the only reason why is just because it's such a long walk to everything else. So I don't think you're going to have a bad view in any of these grand villas. I think they are grand villas for a reason. But if it were me, I would try and stay close to the lobby. But probably I will never be in a grand villa, so I won't have to worry about that. So that covers all of the room categories. Now let me show you what I would do if I were requesting a room. So let's go for the standard view, 1 bedroom, and I've already pulled it up. And let's pull up this in the Kudu Trail. And I'm going to pick this room right here, which is 5216. So this is a room from a similar picture from a similar room, just 1 floor down. So yes, this would be one that I would want. It's a partial Savannah at standard points. And I'm going to go to the top and click here to make this request. And I'm going to click it. And it's going to bring up, now it says requesting room 5216. And I'm going to now configure my room request. And as you see, floor 5. And it says it plugs in a bunch of the numbers. So then I'm just going to plug in here, and I've already typed, so I'm just going to paste it. Any partial Savannah room, if possible, as close to lobby as possible. So those are my 2 requirements. I want a partial Savannah view room, and then one that's as close as to the lobby as possible. And that's it. Like, I think with those 2 requests, the likelihood of getting a partial Savannah view is very, very much in your favor. Now, obviously, you may end up the far end, and that's fine. I would be fine walking all this way if I could get a partial Savannah view for standard points. Not everybody feels that way. It's really up to you and what's important to your family. So with that, those are my best and worst rooms of Animal Kingdom Lodge. So that's it. Those are my best and worst rooms at Animal Kingdom Lodge Jambo House. Let me know what you thought. If you've had one of these rooms, or if you've had a bad room, let me know what it is in the notes in the comments below. And I will be following up this video with best and worst rooms at Animal Kingdom Lodge Kidani Village. But as always, make sure if you're going to use this tool and make these room requests, make sure to sign up for touringplans.com. Again, not a sponsored video. I just love the service and I use it, and that is your best chance to getting one of these room requests. I have had some people on Facebook say, "Oh, I made a request through my Disney experience and it wasn't approved. I didn't get it." And my Disney experience is only going to get you so far. They only give you categories. You can't specify what you're looking for. This room request service through Touring Plans does, and it really gives you just so many opportunities to kind of say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And let me tell you, the room assigners want to make you happy. They're going to try and get you as close to what you want as possible. So definitely use their service. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe, ring the bell, that way you get a notification every time I post a new video. And with that, bye everyone.